This is TWiT.
The U.S. State Department has begun offering $10 million rewards, plural, for it. So it's not just a first come, first serve. You can, there'll be a line for any information leading to the identification or location of people connected to the Conti ransomware gang. And in addition, you can get an additional $5 million reward if any information you provide does lead to the arrest or conviction of a Conti member. So a total of $15 million to anyone who can turn in a member of the Conti gang. And, this is U.S. dollars, 15 million of them. You got to think that this would make anybody associated with Conti quite uncomfortable. There must be others outside of the immediate gang who are not themselves criminals, so they don't face prosecution, but to whom members of Conti have bragged about, over drinks or, I keep trying to say pillow talk, but no. So in a statement on Friday, State Department spokesman Ned Price told us something we already know, that Conti has been behind hundreds of ransomware attacks over the last several years. He said, quote, "The FBI estimates that as of January 2022, there had been over 1,000 victims of attacks associated with Conti ransomware, with victim payouts exceeding $150 million, making the Conti ransomware variant the costliest strain of ransomware ever documented." The memo also notes that the group has recently claimed credit for that wide-ranging ransomware attack that targeted the government of Costa Rica as it was transitioning to a new president. The attack crippled the country's customs and taxes platforms alongside several other government agencies. And as I noted before, the attack also brought down one Costa Rican town's energy supplier. Conti also attacked, as we had documented at the time, Ireland's health service executive a year ago, back in May of 2021, which resulted in weeks of disruption at the country's hospitals. Ireland refused to pay the $120 million ransom and now estimates it may end up spending $100 million recovering from the attack. Although, as I recall, Leo, I think that was the one where they were going to get all new computers as a result. So it was like,
yeah, nice.
Maybe they're milking their insurance company a little harder than they
Who gets the old computers? That's what I want to
know. The group similarly crippled dozens of hospitals in New Zealand, and the group has made a point of targeting U.S. healthcare and first responder networks. They're not nice. Oh, and they're Russian, by the way. Including law enforcement agencies, emergency medical services, 911 dispatch centers, and municipalities within the last year, so says the FBI. The group has suffered a number of internal breaches over the years, the most notable of which occurred a few months ago in February after it expressed public support for Russia's, no surprise, invasion of Ukraine. Within a few days of the message, the gang's internal Jabber, XMPP server, which carried their private messaging channel, was hacked, and 2 years of the chats of the group's chat logs appeared on a new Twitter handle called Conti Leaks. The leaks revealed the group's inner workings and illustrated the way they chose their targets. However, those leaks did nothing to slow the group down. Last Wednesday, they added New York-based architecture firm EYP to their list of victims. So, Conti now joins the ranks of those carrying a serious bounty on their heads. Last November, the U.S. State Department offered a $10 million reward for any information that would lead to the identification and or arrest of members of the dark side ransomware group, with a similar bounty on the operators behind Revil, also, the Sodino Kibi malware. So this is an interesting tactic that I have to imagine it would be effective. U.S. dollars are valued globally still, fortunately. And again, if nothing else, you have to imagine that this, would weigh on the minds of anyone choosing to participate. If they get in, they've got to be very circumspect within their own social sphere, because, here's the U.S. dangling $10 million just for turning you in, and that's real money.
So frustrating. One of our chatters just sent me a link to a Bleeping Computer article about a college in Illinois, Lincoln College, one of the historically black colleges in rural Illinois, closing after 157 years. It survived a major fire in 1912, the Spanish flu, the Great Depression, 2 world wars, the 2008 global financial crisis. But after 2 years of pandemic and finally getting hit by ransomware, they decided to shut down after 157 years. That is horrific and tragic. Just tragic. A cyber attack in December that thwarted admission activities, hindered access to all institutional data, creating an unclear picture of fall enrollment. And so they're shutting down.
Wow. Well, and we've covered when the ransomware was attacking the healthcare industry, it was clearly damaging the lives of people. People were being hurt by the healthcare providers.
So sad. Now they're going after schools.
Yep.
Ugh.